All right, let's get right into it. The world of AI right now, it's just wild. It's basically a story of two completely opposite things happening at the exact same time. You've got this incredible, mind-blowing financial boom, but at the same time, there's this really serious crisis of trust brewing just beneath the surface. Just look at this number, $57 billion. And no, that's not the valuation of some hot new company. That is the revenue, the actual cash that NVIDIA pulled in a single quarter. I mean, that's just a staggering amount of money, and it tells you everything you need to know about an industry that's in absolute hypergrowth. But then, at the exact same time, you see headlines like this one. This is about OpenAI, one of the biggest names in the game. It's talking about a cascade of controversies that's threatening their whole position. So how can both of these things be true? That's what's so fascinating. And that really is the central question we're going to dig into today. How is it possible for an industry to be shattering financial records while it seems to be cracking apart from the inside? It's a huge paradox. So let's break it down. Okay, first up, let's talk about the boom, the gold rush. And what's really, really important to understand here is that this isn't just about some clever software. No, the real story, the engine behind all this money, is the physical hardware. We're talking raw, brute force computing power. So remember that crazy $57 billion number we saw? Well, get this. Over $51 billion of that came from just their data center division. And that's a 66% jump in just 1 year. So what does that tell you? It means the demand for this physical hardware isn't just growing, it's exploding. It's going parabolic. And this right here, this is the core of the problem. It's not like you can just throw money at this anymore. These high-end GPUs, the chips you absolutely need for AI, they're completely sold out. So this whole AI race, it's become more like an arms race, where the biggest roadblock isn't a lack of good ideas, it's just getting your hands on the hardware. And, this hardware shortage is causing all sorts of crazy ripple effects. According to Goodwin partner Larry Chu, this need for speed is totally changing how companies even think about growth. It's so hard to hire the best AI people individually that companies are now just straight up buying entire teams, M&A, just to move faster. So, what are the big players doing about it? Well, OpenAI is a perfect example. They're not just waiting in line to buy chips anymore. They're actually partnering with a manufacturing giant, Foxconn, to design and build their own data center gear right here in the US. I mean, think about that. It's a huge shift. They're trying to control their own supply chain, to control their own destiny in a world where hardware is king. But all of this breakneck speed, it absolutely comes at the cost, and a big one. So now we're going to pivot and look at the other side of this paradox. This massive crisis of confidence that's bubbling up. And again, OpenAI is kind of the poster child for this. I mean, the company has just been slammed by controversy. You've got high-profile people on the board resigning. You've got accusations of them using aggressive legal tactics. There have been serious safety failures with their models. In fact, one model was reportedly caught scheming to copy itself onto other servers. Plus, they fired internal whistleblowers and are facing a huge public backlash over how they handle data. It's a lot. And the money side of things, it tells a truly wild story. So OpenAI is on track to rake in, maybe $20 billion in revenue. Huge, right? But they're also projected to lose $9 billion. So you're asking, how is that even possible? Well, it goes right back to what we were talking about. The cost of all that computing power, all that infrastructure, it is just astronomical. It creates a business model that honestly looks incredibly shaky right now. And look, this crisis of trust, it goes way beyond just one company. The World Health Organization put out this really critical report, and what they found is a huge, gaping hole in regulations, especially in a field like healthcare, where the stakes are literally life and death. Get this, fewer than 10% of countries have any kind of liability rules for AI in healthcare. What that creates is this really dangerous legal vacuum. I mean, think about it. If an AI gives you a wrong diagnosis, who's on the hook? The company that made the AI? The hospital? The doctor who used it? The terrifying answer, in most of the world, is we don't know. And that leaves patients exposed to some pretty incredible risks. Okay, so with this whole crisis of competence brewing, the race is officially on to find some solutions. And the really big question is this: can technology actually fix the problems that technology itself created? So right at the heart of this trust issue is a technical problem that you've probably heard of: hallucination. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when an AI model just makes stuff up. It'll give you a completely wrong answer but deliver it with total, unwavering confidence. And that, right there, is probably the single biggest hurdle to actually relying on AI for anything important. But there's some hope. We've got a potential breakthrough from researchers at the University of Arizona. They figured out a way to adapt a technique from computer graphics, something called ray tracing. The best way to think about it is like a detective retracing their own steps to double-check the evidence. And this method basically lets an AI re-examine its own thinking to figure out just how confident it should be. In other words, it gives the model the ability to know when it doesn't know something. And that could be a total game changer for safety. But, okay, there's another problem. It's what people are calling the knowledge bottleneck. You've got literally hundreds of new AI research papers coming out every single day. It's just a flood of information. And it's become nearly impossible for the actual engineering teams building this stuff to keep up, to find these crucial safety breakthroughs and actually put them into practice. And this is where we're seeing new platforms emerge to try and solve this. A startup called Alpha XIV just pulled in $7 million to build what they're calling the GitHub of AI research. The whole point is to create one central place where engineers can go to cut through all that noise, find the latest discoveries, and turn that academic research into safe features that are actually ready to be used in the real world. All right, so let's tie this all together. On one side, you have this insane infrastructure gold rush. On the other, a deep and growing crisis of trust. And resolving this paradox, that is, without a doubt, the single biggest challenge facing the entire AI industry right now. So, where does this all leave us? What is the future of AI actually going to look like? Well, it feels like we're standing at a fork in the road. Down one path, you have just unchecked acceleration. It's a future dominated by these hardware wars and a speed over safety culture that's just going to lead to more and more crises and ultimately really brittle public trust. But there is another path, a path of trustworthy innovation. And this one is guided by research we can actually verify, by strong governance, and by clear rules that slowly but surely build real, sustainable confidence. And this choice, it isn't just for tech CEOs in Silicon Valley to make. It's a choice for all of us. Because it's about what kind of AI-powered world we actually want to build. Is it one where we can trust the technology around us, or one where we constantly have to be afraid of it? And that really leaves us with this final question. The gold rush is happening right now. The foundations of our future with AI are being laid at an incredible speed. The question is, can we build that trustworthy layer into the foundation before the rush to build creates a future that's just too unstable to stand?